What is my favorite childhood memory and what makes it so special? Or I guess special childhood memory, what makes it so special? I was thinking about this because it was interesting. There were two very distinctive parts of my childhood. There was there was before my sister was born, and then there was after my sister was born, because my sister's 9.5 years younger than me. And I feel like I was a child before my sister was born because I was 9.5 when she came along. The majority of my memories after that, when my sister was in my life, were when I was a teenager. So before my sister was born, I think my favorite childhood memory was living in Amsterdam with my brother and my mom and my dad. We had this awesome apartment building that looked onto a playground, and my brother and I slept in underneath a window, and we went to the Van Gogh Museum and the Rijksmuseum, and my mom got out blank pieces of paper when we got home, and we drew all the art that we saw and put it all over our bedroom. And my brother and I used to walk down to the corner store together every morning and get stroop waffles, which are these little waffles with honey and caramel on them. And it was just, it was an adventure with the family, and it was full of creativity and art. But really, I think the thing that made it so special was the intimacy that my family was experiencing with one another, being in a foreign place. There was just this sense of wonder and curiosity and openness and possibility that happened all the time, and we were such a unit. Then after my sister was born, we spent 1 year between Christmas and New Year's. We went to a cabin in the mountains where there was snow, and I grew up in Southern California, so there was never snow. And we spent a week in this tiny little cabin. I mean, it was one of those cabins where it was if one person was turning around, everybody had to sit still in order for that person to be able to make it in a full circle. It was so small. And we just did puzzles and watched the snowfall and watched movies and listened to music and went hiking and made our own food. And it was so perfectly simple and, again, intimate. And I just remember feeling like all was right and all was good. And it's funny because I still cultivate things like that. I still look for situations and circumstances where I can bring people together and create the circumstances for intimacy. But I think those I think would be my two most special childhood memories. The best, most awesomest, most wonderful gift I have ever received, that's the next question, is this phenomenal piece of art that was made by my best friend, Jenny. It's a scarf, but really it's a hug made out of yarn. It's handmade. I don't know if any of you are knitters, but if you are, you'll understand the incredible amount of work and love that went into a scarf such as this. It's my favorite thing to wear. It's my favorite thing I've received, and it's a representation of the 25 years that we've been friends and all of the things that we've done together. So this is something that I can never get rid of, and it's one of the most precious things I have, because it really represents the dedication and the loyalty and the commitment and the affection of one of the most important people in my life. So that's it. This next question is a pride killer. When all is said and done, will you have said more than you've done? I think at this point, yes. I talk a lot, and I have all kinds of great ideas and fun things that I want to build and create, and I'm working on doing a lot of them, and it's very exciting. But in general, I feel like my feet don't move as fast as my mind, and I have a hard time putting into action the things that I conceptualize. So right now, if I was to evaluate my life, will I have said more than I've done? Yes. Will I always say that? Probably, because I don't think that there will ever be a limit to my imagination, whereas there is a physical limit to my life experience. So maybe it's not such a bad thing. This next question is awesome. It's, if happiness was the national currency, what would make you rich? And I think the answer to that question is bringing together the people that I love the most in order to have a good experience somewhere doing something. I love like putting together dinner parties. I love going traveling with people. I love organizing spaces and experiences with the people that I care for the most that cultivate good relationships. And it's interesting because that's kind of what I do with Jeunesse, the women's organization that I work with. We use these tools and these structures in order to organize situations and circumstances for women to come together and create incredible relationships. So I guess I am kind of doing that. And then on top of that, performing. Like, I love to perform. Can you tell? And I get to do that for a living, and I get to do that for money, and both things I do. So that's pretty awesome. Hey, this question's great. What is something I know I do differently than most people? That's the next question. This is weird. I'm quite quirky. So there's a lot of stuff that I do that's different than most people. Like I have a tendency to turn a bit orange because I eat so much squash. That's pretty different than most people. I have a tendency to name all of my plants and have an affinity for them as if they were friends. That's a little weird. I can't believe I just admitted that. But that's something that I do differently than most people. What else do I do differently than most people? My hours. I keep very strange hours. I don't sleep a lot and I walk a lot. I think that's probably different than most people. That's it. I think maybe write. I write differently than most people, I think. I don't know. But yeah, those are 3 things that I do differently than most people. I'm pretty weird when it comes to that. Okay, now this last question is epic. So epic I had to come off my knees for this one. Why are you you? And I think that's a question that I'm constantly looking to discover and uncover and unravel and know more. Because the more comfortable I get with being me, the more comfortable I am in any circumstance with any person being them. I think the less prejudices I have about myself inside, the less I project on the outside. So that's sort of like a life goal, is to understand why I am me and accept that. But I think right now, if I was to answer in a concise manner, too late, I would say that I'm me because of the people in my life. My mom is a huge influence on who I am and why I am the way I am. It's so funny to watch her talk and communicate. I see myself in her. It's the most bizarre thing. The fact that I grew up as an actor, the fact that I grew up on set, I think has a lot to do with why I am the way I am. The fact that I grew up with such a dedicated best friend and a group of great friends that were all really obsessed with theater and performing and things like that. That has a lot to do with why I am the way I am and why I do what I do, why the things that are important to me are important to me. I think Smallville has a lot to do with why I am the way I am. The character Chloe influenced me so much in the things that are important to me and the things that I think are possible. I think the fact that my father is an opera singer and a wonderful artist himself, and so interested in culture and art and poetry and music has a lot to do with why I am the way I am. That's my phone. And I think just the fact that like I had a brother that was so supportive and lovely and warm, I think he has a lot to do with the reason why I am the way that I am. I see the world as a very willing place, and I see the world as a very safe place, and I think that a lot has to do with my family and the fact that I was raised in a way that was very safe and loving. Crazy as all get out, but loving. Yeah, I think that's probably it. A good outline to start. Why are you the way you are?